I will start a new chapter of software engineering, software coding and testing, Unit 6. Software coding and testing start after the designing phase. After designing document is completed, then the developer develop code for each module and each module is tested. This is an introduction video for software coding and testing module. In this video, I will discuss about introduction to coding and testing phase and what are the different type of testing like unit testing, integration testing, system testing, coding and different coding standards. And I also discuss about the coding review technique, that is code inspection and code walkthrough. So let's start. Introduction to coding and testing phase. First of all, coding is started after designing phase is completed. Coding is undertaken once design phase is completed. And during the coding phase, every module identified in the design document is coded and unit tested. Means after the development of design document, the module are identified in the design document, and from the design document the developer developed each code, each module's code, and unit tested each module. Then unit testing means testing of different module of a system in isolation. Means each module is tested individually. That is unit testing. It is a good idea to test a module in isolation before they are integrated. Means why we should test the unit individually? Because the error can be easily rectified in unit testing. If an error is detected in a single unit, it can be easily rectified. If an error is detected when several modules are being tested together, it would be difficult to determine which module has error. So first of all, we have to test the module individually. After each module are tested, then they will integrated together. After all modules of a system have been coded and unit tested, integration of module is taken according to an integration plan. Means there are many type of integration testing and integration plan. How can we add the modules? And during each integration step, a number of modules are added to the partially integrated system and the system is tested. Means in every phase of the integration, they are tested. And once all modules have been integrated and tested, then the system testing can started. And during the system testing, all fully developed system is tested against the requirement recorded in the SRS document. And there are different type of system testing, there are different type of integration testing that we will discuss in the next video. Then let us discuss about coding. The input to the coding phase is the design document, and during coding phase, modules are identified in the design document are coded according to the module specification. According to the design document, the developer, the programmer coded the module. At the end of the design phase, we have module structure like structure chart or DFD of the system, and we have specified the module specification in the design document and the data structure, the algorithm that used in the each module. And after that design, the developer developed the code for each module. And objective of coding phase is transfer the design into code and unit test the code. Then coding standards. Good software development organization require their programmers to adhere to some standard style of coding called coding standards. Means all the organization, all the developing software developing organization use a coding standard of their own, and that is known as coding standard. The programmer use some rules, some standards, and they follow to write the code. Advantage of adhering to a standard style of coding. It gives a uniform appearance to the code written by different engineers. Means different programmer, different engineer may write the programmer by their own style, and to maintain a uniform appearance, they should follow the rules. That is known as coding standard, and it enhances the code understanding and encourages good programming practice. A code standards set out standards way of doing several things. The way the variable are named, maximum number of source line allowed per the function, rules for limiting the use of global, do not use an identifier for multiple purpose. These are some standards. These are some example of coding standards. Means how can we use the variable name? What can use in variables name? What are the number of line that can be allowed in a functions, and limiting the global variable. So these are some coding standards. Then after coding, after a module has been coded, code inspection and code walkthrough are carried out. Ensure that coding standards are followed and help to detect as many errors as possible before testing. Means after coding each module, then a code review takes place, and these code review are code inspection and code walkthrough. So let us discuss about that. First is code walkthrough. The main objective of code walkthrough is to discover the algorithm and logical error in the code. Code walkthrough is an informal code analysis technique. In this technique, after a module has been coded, it is successfully compiled and all the syntax errors are eliminated. Some member of the development team are given the code a few days before the code walkthrough meeting to read and understand the code. Means after each module several modules are coded and unit tested, the team member are given the code after the code walkthrough, before the code walkthrough meeting, and each member select some test case and simulate execution of the code through different statement and function of the code and identify the error. And this technique is an informal analysis. Okay. Then next is code inspection. The principal aim of code inspection is to check for the presence of some common mistakes or common type of error to oversight and improper programming. Some classical programming error which can be checked during the code inspection are use of unutilized variable, then non-terminating loop, array indicate out of bound, improper storage allocation and deallocation, and use of incorrect logical operator. These are some of the example of some common mistake. And in code inspection, we only check, the programmer team only check the common type of error, and code walkthrough they check the logical and the algorithm error. Okay, so these are some code review technique. So in this video I have discussed about coding and testing phase, and I can briefly explain the testing in the next video. Thank you.